Video games have never been more popular, causing the industry to grow at an incredible rate. With rapidly increasing popularity, technology, and tighter deadlines, it can be hard for developers to make the right decisions. Did we check that line of code? Can this server hold enough people? Will this PR stunt help sell the game? These are all the questions developers must ask themselves, and they don't always answer correctly. From PR creating a poorly planned event to designers leaving something in a game that might be exploited, the video game industry doesn't always run smoothly. Occasionally, though, there are big mistakes. An overlooked line of code or a poorly thought out idea can impact a large amount of the player base, costing the company or the players thousands. These types of mistakes can leave a bad mark on a company. Some use it to strengthen their team and gain valuable experience, but others may never be the same again. I'm Kirsten from WhatCulture, and these are 11 massive accidental video game events that cost thousands. Number 11, HOMEFRONT, Red Balloons. How would you go about PR for the frankly disappointing HOMEFRONT? Hold press events? Release special editions? Maybe just invest in more ad space? Well, the company, Trash Talk FCM, who was hired by THQ, had another idea. They would release hundreds of red balloons over San Francisco, the city where HOMEFRONT is set. This was not a well thought out idea, however, as there is one guaranteed impact of letting balloons go, that they will once again come back down. The city, of course, lodged a complaint about this. THQ first defended the idea of the balloons by assuring people that they were 100% biodegradable, but this was not the problem. The problem was that these balloons presented a danger to wildlife and the local ecosystem. THQ did not defend this point and quietly paid around $7,000 in fines. Number 10, World of Warcraft, the opening of AHN'QIRAJ. In 2006, World of Warcraft introduced the Gates of AHN'QIRAJ update. For a server to open the gates, they would have to gather a massive amount of supplies. Smelted bars, bandages, and food would be needed to fuel an army. This army would not be two separate entities though. The Alliance and Horde would need to work together. The first person to bang the gong and start the battle was a dwarf warrior named Galahad, the Guildmaster. At this point, the game was already like a slideshow, but the moment the gates opened, it completely crashed for many players. Horrendous lags, queues to join that took hours, and crashes on loading screens were just a few of the symptoms of this massive event. There was even a comic written about these problems. This was seen by many as a fun and interesting event, but Blizzard's phone lines and forums had hundreds of frustrated players. This, combined with extra downtime to fix the problem, caused the company thousands in losses. Number 9, EVE Online, BOOT.INI. In 2007, EVE released an expansion pack called Trinity. The community was very excited about this, as it promised many features that had been asked for and was free to all members. What's not to love? However, the expansion had a big problem. With the installation of the new expansion, certain people's computers were having their boot.ini file deleted. This is a very important file that controls Windows operating systems during startup, and the computer cannot start normally without it. It was impacting people that used Windows XP and only updated EVE without fully reinstalling it. This, however, was a lot of people. EVE quickly responded with an article by Dr. Erlander S. Thorsteinson, who apologised for the error and tried to answer the players' questions. EVE commented they only received complaint forms from 215 users and that they reimbursed all of those who were impacted with this error. It was reported by some users that their hardware was even replaced by the company. The bad press remained, as even today when an error is found in a game, the community makes the joke that isn't as bad as boot.ini. Number 8, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Go Fest 2017. Now, how do you follow up the massively successful release of this game? Why, have an event all about it, of course. An event full of shows, games, and rewards. You just need to log into your Pokemon Go app to participate. If you can, that is. The whole event was plagued by numerous network and connectivity issues, with many attendees not being able to log into their account, and so were not able to take part. Tickets for this sold out extremely quickly too, and as commented on by people that attended, others had been waiting in line since the early hours of the morning. When the CEO, John Hank, came on stage, he was nearly booed off.
Mr. John Hanke!
To help put people at ease and retain some goodwill, all attendees' admission prices were refunded. They were given $100 in-shop credit and a free Lugia. It may have cost the company, but it was better for them than the bad press. Number 7, PlayStation Network, the hack of 2011. The attack on the network happened between April 17th and April 19th, 2011. Over 77 million accounts had been compromised and the network even had to be shut down. It seemed at first to only cause connectivity issues. However, Sony was aware and chose not to tell the public until the 20th of April, when all online services had to be suspended. People were, of course, panicked by this. The fact that your personal information may have been stolen, along with lack of access to services, caused an uproar. Sony would perform what damage limitation they could by retrieving and deleting account holders' information, and they also offered compensation in the way of a free game from a certain selection to all impacted. However, the impact on the company's finances weren't just from these free giveaways, but a massive drop in confidence when it comes to the PlayStation Network. Number 6. EVERQUEST, Death of the Sleeper. The server of Relos Zek in EVERQUEST was quite the war zone. After a pitched battle where they fought the Sleeper for 3 hours and 15 minutes, there was a problem. The Sleeper, now at 26% health, disappeared. It was widely considered to be a bug. However, Sony later came out and said that they had actually stopped the encounter as they didn't believe that the group fought in an intended way. It's now known that the company was not ready for the boss to be defeated. The next day, the group reconvened at the now respawned Sleeper, which was brought back after an apology from Sony. And this time, they did kill him. He didn't drop any loot or unlock more content, but they were the first to kill him. EverQuest and Sony would suffer as a result of this event, as they were seen to handle the problem poorly in the first place. Number 5. ULTIMA Online, Ecology Destruction. When ULTIMA Online was released back in 1997, it was one of the first massively multiplayer online role-playing games. Because of this, the team had very little to look at for inspiration. Producer Richard Garriott had a fantastic idea. He would implement a virtual ecology to the world. The team at ULTIMA Online didn't take one thing into consideration. Players will kill anything that moves. The ecology was destroyed, and as soon as something spawned, it was killed. Garriott later said in an interview, players ran all over the world like a swarm of ants that consumed every living thing as fast as it was possible to spawn it. The team's first idea to fix this problem was to split players into shards. Splitting players into separate worlds would reduce the pressure on the ecology. This idea didn't fix the problem, but it was the start of what we now know as servers or realms. Eventually, after trying to solve the problem, they had to just remove all the code from the game, deleting 3 years of work. Number 4. RUNESCAPE, FALADOR Massacre. A player by the name of Curse U had been the first to achieve a skill of 99 in construction. He then did what all new homers should do and hosted a party. One of the events that went on at this gathering was practice combat in a ring. The number of people attended caused so much lag that some had to be kicked out into the world. But there was a problem. Every player that was in the combat arena at the time of being kicked out could now attack anyone they wanted. No protection from safe zones. And best of all, no one could fight back. The glitched players could engage in combat with you, but not the other way around. This fighting and killing spread to most major cities and caused many player deaths. It's remembered by players that people just shouted, "Bank your items!" before they were cut down. The issue was of course fixed as quickly as possible. There was no rollback on the servers. Everyone that lost items during the event from their death lost them for good. Many players, along with Curse U, were banned, although apparently he was banned for real-world trading. The damage to the game and the company was quite extensive. While now the event is humorously commemorated, at the time there was a great deal of player frustration and severe glitches that needed fixing. Number 3. ULTIMA Online, Assassination of Lord British. The character of Lord British is the pseudonym of ULTIMA game designer Richard Garriott. After the launch of ULTIMA Online, it was believed that the Lord should visit his people. A player by the name of Reigns cast a spell known as Firefield. Lord British was unbelievably killed. You see, while the Lord's character was designed to be flagged as invincible, just before the event, the server crashed. This had reset the invincible status and had not been turned back on by Garriott. In the spur of the moment, another developer, Star Long, released a group of demons that killed all the innocent bystanders. Shortly after this event, the player known as Reigns was also banned. The company said that it was for other exploits, but players have often debated this point. This event may be seen as comical for the series now, but this severely impacted Ultimate Online and is seen as one of the most controversial events in MMO history. Number 2. World of WARCRAFT, the Corrupted Blood Incident. On September 13th, 2005, Blizzard introduced a new raid to World of Warcraft called Zul'Gurub. It was a difficult raid, and the end boss had a few interesting abilities. One of these was known as Corrupted Blood. This was a debuff ability that drained the health of players. This debuff could also be passed from one player to the next. Now, when you exited the raid, you were cleared of this. Unfortunately, because of programmers' oversight, Hunter and Warlock pets that got de-summoned were not. Players that came back into the populated areas and summoned their pets spread the disease to anyone nearby, and it killed low-level players almost instantly. It could also affect NPCs who could not die but act as a carrier. Blizzard employees said later in an interview that it was really scary, and we didn't know what was happening. Hundreds of bodies lay in the street as low-level characters constantly died. Some people would spread the disease to others, but some would try to help. Low-level players would direct people to safe zones, and people with healing abilities tried to save all those they could. Eventually, after constant customer service issues, Blizzard had to complete a hard reset on the impacted servers. Interestingly though, this event has been used by scientists and authorities to see how people may react in real-world scenarios. Number 1. EVE Online, the bloodbath of BR5RB. EVE Online has been home to some big gaming events. BR5RB was a small, non-important star system that was owned by a lone player. One day, this player missed a payment for the space station that controlled the system, leaving it open for others to own. This small system may have been of no interest at first, but tactically, it was very important for two major factions, and neither of them was going to let the other have it without a fight. What preceded to this event was the largest PvP battle at the time. 7,548 people would fight in all, with 2,670 in the system that was being fought over. This battle would carry on for 21 hours. The cost? 11 trillion interstellar credits, or to put that in our currency, an estimated $330,000. One side was of course victorious and claimed the space station for themselves. However, to commemorate the battle in-game, a memorial was created in the system to help remember this truly amazing gaming event. And that was our list. What do you think of these expensive PR stunts? Leave us a comment below and let us know. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button and check out our other gaming videos. But for now, I've been Kirsten Ria, and I'll see you in the next one.